Brooklyn plumber named Mario travels through the Mushroom Kingdom with a princess named Peach and an anthropomorphic mushroom named Toad to find Mario's brother Luigi and to save the world from a ruthless fire-breathing Koopa named Bowser. This is the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Let's go. We are back. Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah,
Let's
brother.
cheers to that. Digital clink. Bink. I didn't put an ice cube in my drink, so now it's really warm, but whatever. As VOG said, we are talking the Super Mario Brothers movie. You know, I like to think we provide a good variety of movies that we watch to talk about. But once again, we are talking, a video game movie, a movie about brothers.
Maybe not an A24 movie, but it is an N64 movie.
Whoa.
Oh.
There it is. Boom.
All right. Over. End
It's,
it.
I mean, it has all the elements of what we love, but did we love the movie? Did it do a good job with everything that we love, or did it squander it?
Did it rise to the occasion like a red mushroom? Did it, or did it shrink in the spotlight like a blue mushroom?
Yes.
You know?
Unlike the blue pill, which will help you rise, blue mushroom will do not that.
Not that. Much like my penis. It will shrink.
Much like my mushroom tip. This is a kid's movie.
So, funny enough, before we get too much into this, I was actually talking to Janice about this. It's like, it's kind of funny that like Anya Taylor-Joy, whatever, plays Peach, because like the very first thing I've ever seen her in is the Vivitch, and it's like full frontal, like fully nude in there. And then we watched The Northman, and she's in that, and I believe that she's also like naked in that too. Which whatever, nothing wrong with that, but it's just so weird to like associate her as Peach now.
You've seen Peach's Peach, whatever. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Let me ask you something real quick. Is she attractive? Anya Taylor-Joy.
I would say so, yeah.
Some say she looks like Sid from Ice Age, and it completely fucking fucked with me.
Ruined her for you?
It just, I could not get that image out of my head.
I guess I can kind of see that.
It's the wide set eyes is what it is. I'm glad we're discussing this because this leads right into our first topic. You honestly, you can't talk about this movie without talking about the cast and the whole controversy with Mario's voice. So let's start there. Mario, played by Chris Pratt, who at this point really needs no introduction. Fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, Parks and Recs, the worst Jurassic Park movies. He's done it all, like he's just been out there.
I actually enjoyed Jurassic World. Sorry, shoot me.
Jurassic World was okay. The two that followed it. Bowser, played by Jack Black, who again needs no introduction. A movie that is near and dear to our hearts, and possibly the GOAT Jack Black movie would be School of Rock.
School of Rock. Maybe we do an episode on that down the line, for sure.
For sure.
Definitely feel like it definitely needs its moment of shine again. People forget, everyone, when people think of like their favorite Jack Black movie, I actually don't hear School of Rock brought up as much as I feel like
it's
I should.
It's always like Nacho Libre or like
Nacho Libre is probably the number one thing I hear get brought up. But I think School of Rock I think that's probably the best Jack Black movie ever.
Moving on to Peach, who is not played by Sid from Ice Age, the one and only Anya Taylor-Joy, who just has an insane fucking acting catalog, by the way, an insane credit list. Queen's Gambit, Peaky Blinders, The Menu, The Witch, the new Mad Max movie that's coming out, like just fucking killing it.
Yeah,
insane.
Like she started off like amazing. Like The Witch is like an awesome like horror movie, and I think one of the jump off points of like the new style of horror that we see today. So like that's already like a really big important movie to be a part of. And then like you said, Queen's Gambit was like a huge success.
Yeah, got people in the chest.
Got people in the chest. So I would honestly say like her and Chris Pratt were like the two surprises. I feel like when they announced like the cast.
Okay, yeah,
because like there's something about like. Okay, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, that, like, if you think about it, like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Just going off of, like, Toad's crazy voice. Like, okay, yeah, sure, Keegan Michael Key makes sense for that. Jack Black being Bowser is probably
Perfect
the
casting.
most like perfect, like yeah, duh, like
Yeah.
quintessential, like yeah, that's who it should be for
And
sure.
like, not only did they cast Jack Black, but Jack Black like fucking voice acted. It wasn't just him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
actually
Yeah.
like did something. It was amazing.
Well, I thought that, like, and we'll get into this a little bit more,
Yeah.
but like I thought the cast did pretty good. Like Seth Rogen as Diddy Kong, like
Donkey Kong.
or Donkey Kong, yeah, fucking yeah, it's about right for the type of character he is. Like, yeah, it makes sense.
Moving on, Luigi, Charlie Day,
Charlie
Horrible
Day
Bosses,
makes sense.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. One a voice actress in this movie that I kind of want to shout out. She just provided additional voices. Wasn't anything big, but Ashley Birch, Tiny Tina.
Was she the woman who's in the commercial with them, right? Was she that? She also played that character?
I don't know.
She went viral for a minute. You remember that?
Ashley Birch.
No, the woman in the commercial at the beginning of the movie.
What happened with that?
Just, people were like sexualizing her because it's like, oh my god, like like she, kind of like in the same vein that people like were going crazy about like
Flo and
like
the AT&T girl.
Flo or like what you call that, Mrs. Fantastic or Mrs. Incredible.
Mrs. Incredible.
Kind of like in that same vein,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like like mommy,
Rounding it out, we already mentioned him, but we'll mention him again. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. I actually thought Donkey Kong was voiced by John C. Reilly up until the laugh. It didn't sound immediately like Seth Rogen to me, and then he laughed. I was like, oh wait, is that?
I could get that. Yeah,
because he has like a softer voice. This movie, it's not as harsh as it has been in like his other movies.
He can't do a movie and not do that laugh though. Like it's like in his contracts, I think. So like,
yeah,
you're gonna figure out that's him sooner than later. A little like an underrated casting that I think was well, I mean, it's not underrated. He is credited, but like I think Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong was also pretty awesome. Yeah,
Fred Armisen, whenever he randomly shows up in a movie for me or a show, it's always such a fucking delight. You immediately know it's him just by his delivery, and like just even the fucking Cranky Kong looked like him. So it's like, this is awesome.
Well, I felt like they did that on like there's parts in the movie where Mario kind of looks like Chris Pratt. There's parts of the movie where Peach kind of looks like Anya Taylor-Joy. Like,
you think they pulled like a Pixar thing?
I feel like, I don't know, or like they purposefully animated like their facial animation. There's a parts in the movie where Peach is doing like like she's like making faces, like she's like reacting to something. For a second, it's like, oh, I could kind of see like Anya in there, or like there's like extreme close-ups of Mario's face, and then like it's like that kind of just looks like Chris Pratt. It's like really weird and jarring.
I can't say I thought that, but I will say this: did Toad not have some fucking melanin in him? Homeboy was a little tan, wasn't he?
Dude, he almost said the N-word.
When the trailer first dropped for this movie, and you hear Chris Pratt's Mario voice, a lot of people were disappointed, myself included. I was like, that doesn't sound like Mario. That just sounds like Chris Pratt. Like, lame. By the way, I was hyped for this movie from the trailers. Like, I really wanted to watch this in theaters. Like, I genuinely was like excited for this movie. The only thing that was kind of bumming me out was Mario's voice. But the way they handle it and the way they address it in this movie is so fucking perfect. It's just like, that was a good call.
I don't know, like I had a bone to pick with people because like there was a lot of outcry, obviously, which okay, to a certain extent I do understand, but at a certain point it's like people were like so mad about it. I was like, dude, it's fine. Like why do you care that much? Just watch the fucking movie. Like I honestly didn't think it was that big of a deal. It didn't bother me that much. Like to me, it would have been a little bit too distracting for it to be like the overly Italian fucking Mario voice.
Yeah, that's why I was fine with it.
Yeah, and like you said, like I think the way they kind of address it in the movie and they kind of like reference or Easter egg the original voice actor, I thought was good. I thought it was fun. Yeah. I wish they had given him like kind of a bigger role, like maybe have him play like Mario's dad. I thought that would have been like
did
a better role. No, he was the
no, I know, but I think he also provided the voice for Mario's dad.
Oh, did he?
I think he did additional voices. I could be wrong. I'm like 90% sure on that.
Well, I know for sure for a fact that he plays the guy in the
the
pizzeria
jump up
playing
guy or whatever.
the game. Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe he also played Mario's dad.
He should have played Mario's dad with the voice, though. You know what I'm saying?
That commercial was fucking awesome, dude. It's so funny.
Yeah,
it
great.
reminded me a lot of Lazy Sunday from SNL. I'm sure probably that's the vibe they were going for. And dude, it was just so fucking funny. Should we just go into general impressions before we start diving into our thoughts?
I mean, are you done making any points you had about the voice?
Peach, I'm indifferent about. I didn't think it was amazing. I don't think it was terrible. I think a lot of people kind of had issues with it from what I was reading. Again, like you said, I thought it was an interesting casting because I don't particularly hear anything super unique about Anya Taylor-Joy's voice, but I also don't hate it, so it was a non-issue for me.
I think it's not like to me. It's not the standout acting in the movie, but I do think she gave Peach more of a personality, and that maybe is what's jarring to people because unfortunately this movie came out before because Peach just got her own standalone game finally. So nobody really has an idea of what Peach's personality is outside of like her playing her specific roles in the individual Mario games. Like she's never really had an opportunity to like show off her character. You know, like Luigi has like Luigi's Mansion series, you know, like Donkey Kong has his own games. Like you never really get that sense of what the character of Peach can be. So I feel like that's another reason why people weren't really sure how to, you know, interpret her character or whatever. But for what was there and what they had for Peach, I felt like I'm not going to say it's like the best acting, but I do think she gave Peach a lot of personality for what she was working with.
But yeah, so overall, this movie had me fucking laughing like from like the beginning to damn near the end.
Was this your first time watching it?
Yeah, it was just super funny. Like I don't know how else to put it. Like I just enjoyed myself watching it. The plot, I mean, was damn near non-existent, but it didn't matter to me because watching this movie, it made me feel like a kid. Not because it was Mario, but just the way it is, where it's like these days, or like at least the past few animated movies I've watched, so like Encanto, Coco, you know, and just the recent Toy Stories, they're all so like heavy and like try to teach you a lesson, where this movie just felt fun. It was just like watching a Saturday morning cartoon, just quintessential like kids movie, like just shit happening, moving at a fast pace. It's funny, it's stimulating, it's entertaining. Yeah, I just overall really like this movie. Think it's like an awesome kids movie.
I agree with you. Like I think when I watched this movie the first time, I really enjoyed it, and I remember feeling the way that exactly how you said you felt. Like you said you felt. None of the issues that, you know, I had heard people have with the movie didn't really bother me. Like I personally just like, this is such a fun movie. It's just a great ride. And like, yeah, I'm like laughing, smiling the whole time. When there's specific moments that we'll get into that they reference from the video games or whatever, you get really hype. Like it's awesome. I will say though that on my second watching, which I had earlier today, you know, because I watched it originally in theaters.
Okay.
And then just to prep for the podcast, I rewatched it again today. On the second watching, the issues that the movie do make themselves a lot more apparent.
Yeah.
I found myself not enjoying the movie as the second time around as much as I did the first time around. But I do agree with you that, you know, this is something that is like a perfect kids movie. It's very low stakes, which is nice every now and then. Like not every fucking movie has to be like this life-changing, life-altering fucking experience, you know?
Yeah.
Like you could just watch a movie for the sake of watching a movie and it'd be fun, you know?
Yeah.
A tricky thing with this, right, is like, obviously this is a kids movie, right? But let's not like kid ourselves either. Like when you're making something that is with a property this old, that's been this beloved for so many years and has a range of games that have been played over the years by kids who are now grown adults, like there's an element of this that still has to be for adults too, you know, because that's where it has its roots. The people that grew up playing these games are like in their mid to late, you know, 20s, 30s. You know, and if
40s.
you played the original, yeah, if you played the original Nintendo games, then you're in your 40s probably, or getting close to it. Like, I think this movie does a good enough job of balancing those two things, where it is trying to just be a kids movie for the sake of being a kids movie, but then it's also throwing in the things that only the adults will recognize or care for. I do think there are some misses for sure.
Mm.
The way that I've heard this movie described by a lot of people, and you've probably seen this too, is basically a sequence of Easter eggs streamlined together into a story, which,
Fair.
all things considered, it is pretty fair. It's a pretty fair assessment of the movie. I think it's like pretty accurate for what it is if you were to break it down. I would argue that it's a little bit more than that. This does have a little bit more heart. Wording it that way makes it seem very soulless. I don't think it's soulless. I think this movie has a lot of heart. It's just a matter of how much they were trying to cram into something that can only be so long, you know?
Yeah, you're right. I don't think it's like a soulless thing because they didn't just throw everything that you already knew about Mario into it. Like they kind of gave him backstory. You know, they showed his family, which brief history with the Mario games for me. I was never one who was like super into Mario games. I've played them, but I can't say like I know everything about them or I've played every fucking release. Like my favorite ones are Mario Kart and Mario Party. So like the kind of like mindless ones that aren't really like I loved playing Mario 64. Did I ever beat it or get very far in it? No, but I just played it just to play it. You know, and again with the older games too. Drea has an original Nintendo and I've played those OG games as well and had fun with them, but never really got far in them. Wasn't very good at. I'm not a good platforming game person. Nah. Like that's just not me. I appreciated that this movie kind of humanized them in a way. However, it kind of confused me because I don't know how old they are. Because to me, Mario was like always, for some reason, just in my mind, like some dude in like his like 40s. And then, you know what I mean? Like, and then in this movie, like he lives with his parents and his family and they kind of treat him like he's like a kid, like he's fresh out of like maybe high school or college.
They do a good job of like making him look like Mario, but then he also, you could tell that he's like a young adult Mario.
Yeah.
Him and Luigi. Like, I think they do a good enough job where if I was to place his age, it seems like he's like about in his mid-20s.
It was so jarring to me because prior to that, in my mind, Mario was always like some 40-year-old dude.
Yeah.
And like seeing him like kind of get treated like a younger person was just like so weird to me. And I was like, oh, this is kind of confusing me. I don't know how to feel about this, but it was pretty funny. How old did you think Mario was before this movie?
You know, that's funny. Like, now that I think about it, I've never really associated like an age with him. Like, Mario was just always Mario to me, you know? I've never thought about how old he is.
He just looks old as shit, dude. He looks like he has like a 70s porno stash. So that, like it makes me think he's like from that time.
Yeah, but then like it's like things like where like the you know, like just the jumping around, all the goofy little shit that you do with him in the game. Like, I don't know, like it just never occurred to me to ever like consider his age in all of this. Even though Mario has a face, like to me, he's just like that faceless video game protagonist that you just kind of like play as and you don't think about it. I don't know. I've never.
I don't know. I think the full mustache, the girth of that mustache places an age psychologically.
Bro, I had a classmate in 6th grade. He started growing like a full mustache.
Good for him, I guess.
Shout out to Doug.
But yeah, they added. Well, I feel like they added stuff to it. Like I don't know if this has been in like other games or not. You know, I could be completely off on this, but I did appreciate that there was like a backstory. Like, oh, they're not from Mushroom Kingdom or anything like that. They're like straight up from like New York.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
I think is canon. Like he is a New York plumber. It's just they never really go into detail. It's like one of those things I think it's like covered in like strategy guides or like information books, you know, from back in the day, like where they just tell you the backstory in writing. It's never explained in like a video game.
Which is funny. It's like, hey, you're this plumber trying to save this princess from a giant ape throwing barrels at you. By the way, you're from New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. We might as well just get out of the way because I feel like it's like the big thing that people take away from this movie. But what do you think of like all the references in the movies. Did you have any favorites? Did you have any that didn't hit as much for you? Because like we said, this movie basically can be categorized into a streamline of like Easter eggs basically strung together into a story.
I really liked the subtle Luigi's Mansion like nods to it.
Oh
Like,
my god,
just
dude.
him having the work bag, you know what I mean, carried with him with the plunger sticking out,
The little music.
the little music, the fucking GameCube ringtone. I was
Dude.
like, that is sick.
Awesome, dude. I'm a fucking Luigi's Mansion stan. Like I don't really care for the Mario games as much. Like I played Mario 64 as a kid, and then I haven't really touched a Mario game since. Like I played Mario Odyssey a little bit, but I just could not get into it for the life of me.
Same.
Luigi's Mansion, bro, I fucking played the fuck out of those games, dude. I fucking love Luigi's Mansion. That's near and dear to my heart, so I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Like I love that.
The
for me,
penguins were pretty good too. The penguins.
Penguins is fucking awesome, dude. I'm really sad there wasn't a scene of Mario throwing them over a cliff or something for some reason, like maybe to like save them or something. But just like just that whole thing, you know, that'd be like a really good nod. Maybe like there could have been like a nod to like Mario stretching his face or rearranging it, like a nod to the 64 intro screen. I thought would have been really fun.
I don't know how they would have done it, but I'm surprised they didn't do like the painting transformation thing. Like that's a big one I thought was gonna be in the movie at some point in some way.
The sequence of them running to the first plumbing job and doing the side-scrolling Mario shit and jumping on the the Castle Burger or whatever flagpole. Fucking that sequence was fucking awesome.
That was sick.
So good.
My favorite Easter egg, and I don't know if this is what they were going for, but that's what I immediately thought of in my head, was the after credits scene where they zoom in on the wreckage of the plumbing system, and then you see the Yoshi egg and it starts to hatch. Because that immediately made me think of Godzilla 1998. That end scene, I was like, oh,
I think you might be onto something, because like that is like kind of like that movie was really critically panned. Like it was not fucking well received.
I loved it.
But that scene is like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe iconic's not the word, but people know, you know, like people know that scene, you know?
I think people know it because they shit on it because it's trying to set up a sequel and that movie just got trashed unfairly. It's fine. It's such a fun movie. I like it.
It's a cool scene though. And like, even though it's not like a good movie, there's scenes in that movie that I feel like could be like either iconic or are very memorable from the time. So like the scene where a guy is like in between his footprint when he steps. Like that's like an iconic, like that's an iconic scene.
Dude, I could do a whole fucking podcast episode on the marketing from that movie from when I was a kid, because I remember that shit so vividly.
Yeah, let's not front. Let's like listen. Godzilla in 1990 was it 1998 when it came out? Yeah, Godzilla 1998 deserves some love. Like I think you could have some fun with that. Like I don't think you need to shit on it entirely. But anyway, we're really off topic. I have a few. Like, I really enjoyed a lot of the things that this movie does bring forward from the games. I also have some missed opportunities for Easter eggs, but I'll get into that later.
Okay.
You have to fucking love the Rainbow Road shortcut. Reference. Like, I thought that was fucking awesome. The blue shell was a good one too. Funny. Like, the way they introduced the blue shell, I thought was awesome. Like, and the fact that it sounds like a fucking bomb before it crashes into them, that was fucking great. What else did I really fucking enjoy?
I think I don't know if this is what they were going for, but the fact that Kong Kingdom, I don't know what it's called, but the whole Kong world basically had got around on like the carts, right? Yeah, I don't know if that was I don't know if that was also a subtle nod to Diddy Kong Racing, which again, underrated game.
I don't think so. I wish, but they definitely were heavily influenced by Mario Kart 8. / Mario Kart Infinity. I was really on the lookout for Diddy Kong racing references, because that's like a game that's very near and dear to both of our hearts, I think.
Yeah.
Like I love that game. So I didn't catch any Diddy Kong racing references. If they had come out in a hovercraft, if Diddy had come out in a hovercraft, I would have lost my shit.
I just thought because they were like so heavily like they were like a kart culture that was like maybe it's a subtle nod to Diddy Kong Racing as well.
Maybe. I think that was more their reason to introduce the cart aspect to it.
Yeah, which
I think that's what it was.
which honestly was a little heavy-handed.
Shoehorn,
Personally,
right?
yeah, like it was like
Especially
okay.
like the cart creations screen.
See, I liked that
which
part.
I thought was fine.
yeah.
I thought it was fine, but like it was a moment where I was like, okay, like that's pretty like okay.
Because
we get
in
it.
what world does like fucking what's his name, Funky Kong? I forget whatever his name is. Like, why does he need a cart to get around? Like, I don't know, but whatever.
I did like a part of that scene that I do really like is like they kind of bait and switch you, where they show Mario in the Mario Kart. Okay, obvious. Then they show Peach in the motorcycle, which okay, that is like the main thing that I think a lot of people use for her.
Yeah.
And then fucking Toad rolls up in the fucking Escalade looking ass Pitmobile. I thought that was a nice little like. So that's not what you were expecting.
I think that's actually a game mechanic because I think
is it.
I think if I'm remembering correctly and if I read correctly, the smaller characters like that, they like an exclusive cart for them to use is those big ass truck things.
I missed that then. That totally went over my head if that's the case. But I thought that was a fucking hilarious like bit.
Yeah.
During the fight scene, they show after Mario wins.
Yeah.
They cut back to Diddy Kong in the crowd and he's banging on the bongos.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really cool callback. Stuff like that, man. Like this movie, like I said, like it's not like this movie is just shamelessly inserting like fan service. Like I think there was a lot of love and care put into the fan service that they decided.
There was
to go
an
with.
attempt to like put it in there like naturally, like to have it like flow.
But I will say this, there were some that just did not hit for me. So for example, the biggest one that I felt like was completely shoehorned in and just honestly I could have done without, or they should have just handled it a different way, was the your princess is in another castle. I thought that was completely forced. It just naturally just did not fit into the context of the situation.
It did set up fucking Toad cooking though, which is hilarious.
So is that a thing? I wasn't sure about that.
It is. So in Super Mario World, or Land, I guess, in Universal Studios, the restaurant there is like Toad's kitchen, and he's like the chef. And I don't know if it's referenced in other things. I know his cast iron like weapon was a reference to Peach's weapon in or like one of her moves in Smash Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I haven't caught that. I've never seen anything that references that, but I mean, if that is, then because I thought that was completely random. Both me and Janice were like, why? Like, it's just like there's no need for that. Like, it's just so random. Like, I don't get it. But if it is actually a reference to something, then
yeah,
I'm definitely more forgiving of it. I really think there was a missed opportunity during the Donkey Kong and Mario fight to make that arena like, and I know that it's in the pipeline to create a Smash Brothers movie down the line, like much like how Marvel built up to Avengers. Like, I know that's in the works. But just for the sake of this scene, like I'm really disappointed that they didn't make the arena look like the Donkey Kong arena in Smash Brothers 64.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that could have been a nice little teaser because I can't imagine that when they make the Smash Brothers movie, it's going to be taking place in arenas. Like, I think they're just going to be fighting around random locations. So it's not going to be like an actual arena setting.
Yeah.
You know? So when you do actually have the opportunity to have an arena setting in this movie, which you actually set up in a pretty natural way, it just seemed like a no-brainer to me to make it look like the Smash Brothers Diddy Kong or Donkey Kong 64 arena, you know?
Yeah.
That scene was good. Like, I enjoy it. And I thought the fight was pretty fun.
I like the power-ups being scattered across the arena, kind of like Smash Brothers, like you were saying.
And being random too, I thought was fun. Like, I think that was a good call. Me and Janice were talking about this. I think I really enjoy the most believable dynamics in this movie to me are Mario and Luigi's dynamic and then Mario and Donkey Kong's dynamic. I really enjoy that whole like frenemy dynamic that they have where like the part where Donkey Kong comes in and makes fun of him for how he flirts. I thought was super fucking funny. And then the part where before they leave on the go-karts to go to Rainbow Road, Donkey Kong's just like, I hate you. I thought was fucking hilarious. Like that whole dynamic.
Or like when he was like, you saved me. Don't tell anyone.
Don't tell my dad.
Don't tell my dad or something like that. Yeah.
And then the part where like Mario was like, "Well, yeah, my dad thinks I'm a loser too." It was like, "Yeah, well, your dad's right."
Sounds like a smart guy.
Like you think they're gonna have like this moment of like, "Oh, like I know what that's like," but no, he's just like, "You know what? Your dad's right. You are a loser." So those are just a couple things that I really liked about the references in the movie, and then a couple things that I wish that they had done better or done differently. So one of the, I guess, reoccurring characters, I guess you could say, that I feel like, oh, real quick, one other reference. I don't know what other game that this character exists in, but I'm just fucking glad that they included him because it's like one of the most memorable characters from Mario 64, in my opinion. King Bob-omb.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Oh my God. So fucking, dude, when I saw him, I literally was like, yes.
Yeah. Dude, so was I. Yes. I was like, fuck yeah. I literally was like, dude, King Bob-omb.
Fuck yeah. King Bob-omb. And the fact that they kill him off. But unlike Admiral Akbar, this was like the perfect way to kill him off.
Oh, dude, let's not. Oh, what a disservice to Admiral Akbar. Fuck you, Ryan Johnson, you piece of shit.
Nah, dude. Like, I think just showing King Bob-omb and then blowing him up like not too long after, I thought was fucking hilarious. Like, I thought that was great. And I was just glad that he was there. I think the big thing, though, that I don't like about this movie, and which I really picked up on in the second watching of it, is it kind of has the same issues that another movie that I wasn't too high on, Raya the Last Dragon.
Oh, I've never seen it.
I'm not super big on it, and it's for this very reason that I'm about to bring up, that I feel like this movie does a little bit better. But basically, the pacing is so like move on to the next thing over and over again. Like you kind of spend a lot of this movie just jumping from scene to scene, and this movie does this thing where it will introduce a conflict and then resolve that conflict either within the same scene or not too long after they introduce it. So it's never really time for the conflict to develop or time for it to settle in.
Yeah.
And that's why like you don't really feel like the weight of the moment. And like I said, it's not supposed to, it's a low stakes movie. That's fine. But like, you can still be a low stakes movie, but still let whatever conflict you do have in the movie sit, you know, and like you could still feel it. One movie that I think is a low stakes kids movie that still, you know, feels like there's some weight to it and is still fun is like the Lego Movie. I think the Lego Movie does that way better. And I think in terms of a story, it's a movie that is both fun and lighthearted and low stakes, but still tells like a decent story within the context of the movie. Whereas this, I feel like if you're looking for story, you get little tastes of it here and there. That's awesome. But for the most part, you're in it for just the, you know, just the fun of it all, you know?
Yeah. I guess it's kind of like playing a Mario game, right? Where you're just, the story is kind of there, but it's not really like a driving force of the game. It's more so just the levels and stuff. So it kind of mirrors the game in that aspect, I think.
Which I'm very curious to hear what people who play like Mario games more frequently than us think about it, because we both admittedly do not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe there's something we're missing here. Maybe there's some Mario games that do have like more story focused gameplay or whatever, you know?
Yeah, you're right. Though, like I gave this movie praise earlier on just being like a Saturday morning cartoon where you're not really thinking about the stakes. You're not really thinking about what lessons it's going to teach you. It's just things are happening and it's entertaining. That doesn't mean, though, they couldn't, you know, add some more depth or meaning to it. Like they for sure could have. And you could definitely pick that as a flaw in the movie. And I will agree with you. Like, yeah, there's not really much to it. Like, but again, it was just an entertaining movie. I was super hyped for it, but I also had like no expectations for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I think
I just
everyone's
wanted
expectations for this movie was relatively low based off of especially like their disappointment with Chris Pratt. I think the general consensus of this movie is not as bad as I thought it would be.
You think?
You know, which I think so. Like, I think a lot of people were either thinking this movie was going to be bad or hoping it was going to be bad.
I actually haven't heard a lot of negatives, to be honest.
No, like post movie coming out, yes. I think most people like this movie. Just leading up to the movie, I don't know. I saw a lot of like vitriol maybe not vitriol. Vitriol is a little strong.
Yeah.
But like I saw a lot of people just like either hating on the movie because they just did not like that Chris Pratt was casted in it, or just like typical like it's Illumination making it and they're more missed than they are hit, you know, because Illumination makes the Minions movie, they make the Secret Life of Pets, which for kids, sure, that's fine, but like competent movies, people do not really consider it that.
Secret Life of Pets was good though. I actually liked that one.
No, yeah, for sure. Like I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying like people, you know, because when it comes to animated movies, even though you shouldn't, people are always going to compare it to Pixar. You know, that's just the truth. You know,
but dude, Pixar has been putting out some fucking stinkers lately. So Pixar can't even like fucking talk.
Perhaps. I mean, they are also like putting out movies more frequently than they usually have. So like that could also be it too. It's like you guys need to take more time with your movies like you used to. So
I will say there is one real quick.
What's up?
I didn't like. There wasn't a whole lot of times where like I was like, oh yeah, Mario just sounds like Chris Pratt. Like for the most part, I didn't even like really think about him. You know what I mean? Like he changed his voice just enough to like make you forget that, oh yeah, it's Chris Pratt. To me,
I liked it. Like I thought he gave a fine performance. Yeah. Like I thought it was good, but like there are definitely moments where I'm like, this is just fucking Star-Lord or whatever. You know,
but for the most part, like in like just the dialogue that's like not pivotal, like it was like fine.
Yeah. No, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
What did you think of the I think this is a character that a lot of people were surprised by, and I think it's a lot of people's favorite character in the movie. Luma? Like in terms of just the what?
Is it Luma?
The star, right? Yeah. Yeah. What did you think of that character? So from my understanding, and I might be wrong, but I think that is a character from Super Mario Galaxy, I want to say. But it's not as depressing or whatever in the game itself. That was just a characteristic they attributed to it for the movie. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
so that's what I think is the case. Yeah, so I read what you I read about what you said, where she's from Super Mario Galaxy, and I guess she or it, I don't know if it's a boy or girl, whatever. They are they start planets or something, like they create planets or whatever.
Yeah.
So they were saying that like them being kind of like suicidal in a way is kind of in character by their nature.
Yeah.
I thought first watch she was hilarious because I did end up watching it a second time in the background today while I was working. Hilarious at first because it's just so like comes out of nowhere at first.
Yeah.
But then I kind of thought, is this like a little too like try hard, like
to be juxtaposition?
Yeah, or like, hey, millennials, y'all feel this way, right? Y'all feel like you welcome death, and it's kind of like,
You felt like it was pandering?
Yeah, exactly. That's the word I was looking for. It was a little pandering.
It's almost like reverse woke, though, right? Like it's like they do like the woke characters where it's like, oh, this is supposed to like get you on the hook, represent you, whatever, like, whatever, like, you know, disenfranchised minority you are, segment of the population you are. But this is just a feeling, right?
Yeah.
That it's like we know this is gonna appeal to millennials because we know millennials are always bitching about this type of shit. You know, so like yeah, this is it. This is the millennial.
This is you guys, right? This is like
but it's like dark and edgy. It's not like, oh, we should all just get along and be together and be friends. You know, it's the opposite.
So like I kind of have mixed feelings on it. It is funny. Like, yeah, sure, they fucking got me. But at the same time, it's like, I fucking know, I know what you're doing.
They fucking know you better than you know yourself.
Like, I know what the fuck you're doing. I like it, but I know what you're doing. That's how I feel about it.
When you know for a fact that they got you, like hook, line, and sinker.
Dude, how do you think it feels to be, like I said, I don't consider myself a Disney adult, but I do enjoy Disney, and I know they're fucking me. I absolutely know they're fucking me.
Denial.
It's like that. That's what it is.
Yeah, dude. I get exactly what you're saying. Like, it's just one of those things that's like such an obvious joke that we're obviously gonna like or like gravitate towards, you know, because that's the thing with us is like we're very despondent. There's very Gen Z and millennials. It's like we both can relate to like no hope for the future because of the world we live in, where we genuinely feel like there's no hope for the future. It's one of those things where you look in the mirror and you just kind of hate yourself.
Yes, exactly. And then it's I want to die.
And then you it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Like you basically become the villain. You're Harvey Dent. So they got us.
They did.
What can I say? Sometimes the billion-dollar corporations do know us better than we know ourselves.
Good one, guys. Good one.
So Bowser. So we can all say that I think we'll all agree that Jack Black gave a great performance. 100%. Really just did the most with the character.
Yes.
Took advantage of being Bowser. I did have something I wanted to bring up though about Bowser.
Okay.
This song got so much hype, and I did not hear the fucking end of it prior to watching the movie in theaters. So I watched it a little bit late in theaters because I was trying to wait out the crowds. And there was not one day where I could go without hearing about Peaches, the song. So I'm like, oh, this must be like a really fun, witty song, or just like this song must just be awesome. And like, I'm not gonna lie, like I thought the song, when you actually hear it, was like really underwhelming. I was expecting a lot more. Like, to me, it's not the most catchiest song in the world. It's not that pleasant on the ear. It's like, to me, it's very typical Jack Black Tenacious D, which, don't get me wrong, like, is funny. I can see the humor in it, and it's fun, but like, it's not something that I would go out of my way to like listen to or like just throw on, to laugh at. Like, not even that, right? For me, it was just kind of mind-boggling why this was such a fucking hit, because this song was fucking huge. I can understand like the Frozen song being as huge of a hit, because that's like a very conventional like song. But this becoming like a huge hit, like, it's Jack Black just being Jack Black. So I don't know. Did the song hit for you?
Not at all. Maybe it would have been different if I saw this in theaters with the early crowd and it just happened in the movie. The song itself isn't great, but maybe in the context of seeing it for the first time in the movie, that makes it funny. But I agree with you. I don't think it's a good song. Like, when I first heard it, because I saw the music video like on YouTube, I was like, what is this song that people are going crazy for?
Yeah.
And it was just like, this isn't anything.
I think the song works in the context of it is unexpected, and I could see it definitely hitting for people in the context of it being unexpected.
Yeah.
But the problem is that I was expecting it, because I had already heard about it being in the movie from all the social media coverage it was getting.
Yeah.
And then 2, Jack Black being in your movie kind of already guarantees that something like this is going to happen. Like, this is just what he's known for.
Yeah.
So like, it was not unexpected for me at all for this character to take this twist. Like, I do enjoy how much they try to humanize Bowser in this movie and like make him seem like a sympathetic character, but in like a pitiful, like, oh, he just wants love kind of way.
Yeah.
But like, because I kind of expected them to take that route, because to me, the writing was just kind of on the wall about it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of those moments don't hit as hard for me. I would say the moment that hits the hardest, I forget what it is, but like, it's like the very first time when you see like, oh, he actually is like I don't know if sympathetic is the word. Simp is definitely the word, but I don't know if sympathetic is the word. Maybe simp and pathetic is the words actually. But like, when you really see that side of him, I think I was like, oh, okay, like this is interesting. You don't really see this part of Bowser in anything else. So like, I get it. But then once that kind of wears off, I'm just like, oh, okay, like, this is just kind of like par for the course for me in terms of how they're going to portray this character.
I did like the scene immediately following the piano, like the song where he's like, hey, jam with me. And then he's like talking to his fucking dude. Yeah. I did like that scene a lot, which actually sets up like a point that I wanted to make about this movie, was that it's so like, it's surprisingly violent. Like, him smashing that dude's fingers, like, oh my God.
Him
What
burning the fucking
fuck?
guy and turning him into a dry bones.
Yeah, but not even that. Even the fucking toads, dude. So when they first jump Mario after he sees Peach, like one of them, when she's like, "Oh, get off him," one of them gets like that last cheap shot in. I was like, "What the fuck?" And then a little more towards the end, when Bowser's in New York. And they're like, they get the star, so they start fighting everyone. You see the fucking Shy Guys jumping their old boss, like straight up 3 Shy Guys just wailing
The
on
fucking
him.
Shy Guys is like a total like underrated part of this movie. Like the Shy Guys were so fucking
the Shy Guys
great
were
for
sick.
how little they're in this movie.
Yeah.
You brought up a something that's related to a point that I wanted to make about the music in this movie.
Oh, that's actually on one of. So I don't have a lot of dislikes, but that is part of it.
So maybe we're going to think the same thing.
Okay.
So let me get this out, and you tell me if this is exactly what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So the parts of the movie where they recreate or repurpose classic Nintendo songs from Mario and in general,
Yeah.
I thought were the best parts of the movie in terms of sound.
Yes.
Right. The worst parts of the movie is the fucking licensed music.
100%.
Yeah.
Because just real quick, the music in Mario is so memorable and you can do so many things with it. You don't need licensed music at all.
You don't need licensed music. I 100% agree. Like that is the last thing this movie needed. It was such a missed opportunity during the scene where they're rushing to their first job and they're going through that whole side-scrolling sequence. The fact that they're playing No Sleep Till Brooklyn is a fucking atrocity. Like, that's like, it's like, this song is so unnecessary in this moment. Like, it doesn't add to the scene at all. But you know what would have added to the scene? Some sort of structure or edit of like the Mario maybe World 1 song, you know? Like something like that.
And the worst part is their choice with the licensed music for this movie is so like it's been in like every fucking movie. Every song they choose, it's
song
so
ever.
Yeah, it's so overused.
I Need a Hero.
Brooklyn, like I believe that was in the most recent Guardians movie. Yeah. So they already used that. I Need a Hero was I'm sure it's been in other movies. Shrek 2, I think, used it.
Yeah. Shrek 2 uses it when he's on his way to rescue Fiona or whatever from the marriage. Yeah.
But I think
they do that.
I think from the comments I've read, like it's also been used in like other movies recently. And then Take On Me for like the Kong world, like made no sense.
Makes no fucking sense
why?
At all. Fucking Mr. Brightside, like not Mr. Brightside, Blue Sky, Mr. Blue Sky for the end part.
Again, Guardians music. It was just like, dude, what the fuck, dude? Like it's so shoehorned, so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Someone made a comment, was like, did fucking Universal have like a buy one get one deal that they needed to use up with these fucking licenses where they just needed to throw it in something?
It's so stupid to me because like you used up probably a decent amount of, not a decent amount, but you probably used like a good portion of the budget, you know, to license these songs when you didn't have to. You had the perfect pool of music to choose from in your own fucking backyard with the Nintendo license alone.
Yeah.
You know, like Nintendo wants this to be a success. So I'm sure they're going to have no issue with you using whatever fucking Nintendo song you want. That was such a missed opportunity. Like the fact that the Wii music makes no appearance in this movie at all, or at least not that I could tell.
Yeah,
is an atrocity. Like you had the GameCube song making an appearance was awesome. Like that's such a great reference.
Yeah,
you know, so like throw the Wii in there. You know, something like Nintendo. Out of all 3 of the big 3 gaming companies, Nintendo is the most known for music.
They should have taken a note from Gran Turismo and Sony and just stroked their fucking dicks more. That's what they should have done.
Dude, circle jerk all over this shit. Yeah, you know. And that's where this movie kind of fails for me is like it doesn't have to, it never had to. No one in their right mind had to. I don't even think the director wanted to do this. I'm pretty sure it was like something like the studio heads like forced them to do.
Yeah.
But like you did not have to succumb to like the typical licensed music trope. Like you did not need to do that.
Yeah, not at all.
You know.
So that's like one of like the 2 dislikes I really have about this movie. The second one being the Peach origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Are we just gonna ignore she's like a missing child? Like, is that something we're just supposed to like get over and look past? Because I was just like,
Yeah,
wait,
like
hold on.
Yeah, it's one of like here's the thing though. Like I'm glad they address it at least in the movie. Like I'm glad they're like, oh yeah, like I'm also a human that ended up here, but I ended up here at a very young age and they raised me. Like, okay, sure. It at least explains why she's also a human.
Right.
And no one else in the entire world is a human. But yeah, it is kind of really grim and dark if you think about it. It's one of those things where it's like, wow, this is really fucked.
Yeah, it's just like, hold on, wait. What?
So Janice actually brought up a good point or observation that I didn't pick up on until she mentioned it. But so the whole reason they end up in the world, right, is they're trying to fix this big, massive flooding that's happening in the middle of the city that is like Brooklyn's in trouble. Like this is like such a serious type of thing that's happening. They don't actually end up fixing the problem before they leave the world. But then when they go back to Brooklyn, everything's fine. So it's like, that's like such a like non-consequential moment in the movie that never like pays off. Like I feel like they could have gotten them to the world some other way. Like they didn't need to build up this thing that doesn't even end up paying off down the line, you know? Or there's like no scene whatsoever of the parents back home like, oh my God, my sons are missing. You know, like just one scene where they at least acknowledge them in the other world.
I'm gonna reference Godzilla again. Not 98. But in Godzilla versus Kong, they go to like their Hollow Earth world, right? So in the Apple like Godzilla series, TV series, Monarch, they explore that. They explore that world. And they say when you're in there, time moves differently. So what maybe felt like a few days to them was maybe like 2 hours or something.
Maybe, but then you're literally taking Godzilla lore and applying it to the Mario Brothers movie.
They reference it with that Yoshi.
We don't know for sure. That's just a hunch.
It's all connected.
All right, real quick pause. I need to fucking take a fat piss.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. We're back. We had to take care of some plumbing.
Oh, speaking of plumbing, one joke that I thought worked really well and I thought was like low key one of the better jokes in the movie is the whole beef with the dog, and then it paying off with the dog acknowledging them at the end of the movie. It was the fucking funniest shit ever.
This movie did that dog a disservice because first of all, his bone got stepped on, and why are you making him the villain? He's not the villain.
Dude. No, yeah. He just was trying to handle business. Dude.
Exactly. He was disrespected in his own fucking home.
In his own home.
Yeah.
Dude. He was standing on business.
Yeah.
Bro. I feel that.
Nah, I fuck with that dog.
I feel that.
Heavy.
I feel that. Yeah, no. And then but at the end of the movie, the dog just giving like a I do think this movie does rely on a lot of like fan service and cheap like references to get a lot of people over.
Yeah.
But this movie also, I feel like, has some pretty good jokes that are like built up to.
Wait, we haven't even gotten to Toad. Fucking Toad, dude.
Let's talk about Toad.
If Jack Black like is like the main star of this movie, Toad is right there behind him. Every fucking Toad scene was fucking hilarious, dude. Like,
yeah.
And I just love him, dude. He was so funny.
Dude, like I was saying, like the casting was so great. Like Keegan did his thing, man. Like he really made him feel like his own thing, you know, gave him some personality. But
didn't do like the yelling voice that Toad usually has, which was nice.
Yeah. It was like it was like his own because like obviously if he did that, it might have gotten really old really fast. Yeah. So he did something that was just shy of that, like in between, that I felt like worked really well for the movie. A lot of the Toad bits I thought were just really well done.
The stuff they were having him do while other people were talking is fucking hilarious. Like Ali pointed it out to me when Mario's about to fight Donkey Kong and like he's doing his chest bump and it cuts to Toad and he's just like just Like that shit was funny. I don't know how to explain it.
That shit was funny.
He's just
Him coming
hilarious.
to defend Mario when Donkey Kong was making fun of his flirting. Like, oh, I bet she would date him. Like, just how down he is for like his homies and shit like that. Like, no, yeah, you gotta love
who's
it.
this? Like, I'm his best friend. Fucking love Toad, dude. I did think it was weird that Peach was like, "Who are you?" Because she seemed to like know every fucking Toad in the kingdom somehow, but this guy's like an outlier somehow.
Well, I think she knows every Toad in the kingdom. I think she just she's like, she knows her people, right? Generally speaking, like she knows her people. She was raised by Toads and she rules over them, you know, but like this specific Toad, she doesn't know. It's like,
but she felt like super, like she sounded a lot more disrespectful towards him than when fucking stranger ass Mario comes through.
And you took that personally.
I took that personally. Like just like Toad is down for Mario, I'm down for Toad, bro. Like I'll go to war with that little mushroom head.
Don't eat that, you're gonna die.
His brother's gonna die imminently.
I'm just trying to move the crowd. No, don't. He's gonna be fine.
And he goes, "What's up, Central?"
Did you catch the one of my favorite visual gags is when they're walking through the city towards the castle and they pass like the antique shop and it's like all the 8-bit like shit.
Oh, did I notice that? I think I missed that.
Yeah, so they pass through an antique stand basically, and everything for sale in the antique stand is like all 8-bit Mario shit.
Oh shit!
And then there's like a person talking to the store owner, and then they're like saying like, "Oh, will this even work or whatever?" And then he basically gives them like a yeah, it'll work, but you just have to blow into it a few times. So it's like
I do remember hearing that.
reference.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Again, like there's like little things that this movie does for fan service that I feel like, for the most part, most of them make sense or they hit or whatever.
Yeah,
you know. Another one that we didn't really reference was Punch Out Pizzeria.
Mm-hmm.
That's another good reference that I felt like is fitting. The musical reference to the star music when both Mario and Luigi get the star power up.
Yeah, that
was awesome. So that's why I'm not willing to like just mitigate this movie to just being a fan service references like linked together, because all the references they do, I feel like for the most part are handled with care and love. And that's to me what makes this movie have the heart aspect to it. Like I feel like they actually gave a fuck about how they represented the video games in this movie, you know?
No, yeah, that's why I was saying earlier, I was like, it seemed like every like Easter egg or reference they put in the movie, they tried to make it work seamlessly within what's happening in the movie. Like they tried to integrate it and not just like throw it at you and be like, huh? You like that, you motherfucker?
You like that, you motherfucker.
You like that, you motherfucker.
We know you do.
We know you love Luma, you depressed ass motherfuckers.
In case you live under a rock or just haven't been paying attention, after the success of this movie, which was highly successful, they've obviously announced plans for a Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Actually, sorry. I do have one more quick point before I continue with this point.
Yeah.
This movie proves that they can do next-gen, high-definition graphics Mario. And Nintendo refuses to do that because they want to focus on gameplay over graphics. Like, cool, you could do that, but you could still make it look pretty. And this movie shows that. You're not going to lose any of the character integrity by doing this. So put Mario in Unreal Engine, goddammit. Just saying. Anyway, I just need to get that off my chest. That's my soapbox moment.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, the movies that they've announced that they're working on, the next one supposedly is going to be a Legend of Zelda movie, Metroid, Star Fox, Kirby, Donkey Kong, which surprising that Donkey Kong doesn't come sooner, honestly. Donkey Kong, and then all of this culminates in Super Smash Brothers Part 1, apparently coming by 2026.
Oh, that's quick.
So, very quick turnaround.
That is quick.
My first question is, out of these movies, and I feel like Super Smash Brothers is very obvious, so I'm going to actually exclude that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which one are you the most excited for? And then 2, what Nintendo franchise do you want to see eventually turned into a movie post these ones?
Okay, so I'm hyped for each one for different reasons. I'm most excited for two. One of them.
Oh, real quick, sorry.
Yeah.
Earthbound is also apparently a movie that we're going to get, as well as Super Mario Brothers 2.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot to choose from, but the first two that I'm most excited for will be Legend of Zelda,
Okay.
because I enjoy the story of Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the characters. Personally, haven't played a lot of the games. Don't really care to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So to have like that presented to me without having to play the game, so I could learn the story, like more story and like more characters and stuff like that, and more lore. To have that in a movie, I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
I'm worried though, because that one is definitely going to have the most pressure out of all the movies.
That one for sure has to be story driven.
Yeah, that
For
one
sure.
is going to be, it has to be good. So I'm really curious to see about that. The second one that I'm excited for personal reasons is Star Fox, because I love Star Fox. So super hyped for that.
Yes.
I would say I would be more hyped for that one if I wasn't so curious about how the Legend of Zelda movie would work out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of want to see like how that goes. But for sure, Star Fox. The Metroid one, I'm just curious who they're going to cast. That is my big thing.
To play Metroid?
To play Samus, yeah.
Samus?
Like, who would they cast?
Should we play the game of casting Metroid right
This
now?
is a throwback. Okay, we could do that.
This is something we used to do way back in the day.
The obvious choice, like 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
Nice qualifier.
Would have been Scarlett Johansson.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
The obvious choice. Yeah.
That.
Nowadays, damn. I don't know. I'm trying to. Can Anya Taylor-Joy bulk up?
This might be a little bit out of left field, but I think her voice has its own kind of uniqueness to it that I feel like could come off really well in a Metroid movie, like as Samus. I'm gonna say Zendaya.
I feel like she would have to bulk up a lot.
Well, she's not gonna be live action.
That's right. You're right.
It's animated. Yeah, it's animated. So it just would be strictly off of voice.
Oh, dude, for sure, Scarlett Johansson. Still ScarJo, bro. 100%.
You can't see that ass and see like it's not her. They're not gonna put her ass in the movie.
Scarlett Johansson has a sexy ass voice.
Okay.
Top voice in Hollywood, I think.
Okay. What if Scarlett Johansson voiced Flippy in the Star Fox movie?
Dude, they're gonna go like fucking like Sarah Silverman or someone. Sarah Silverman, dude.
Amy Schumer is Flippy.
Oh fuck no. Oh, what's her fuck? What's her face? Jenny Slate. I can see that, dude. I can honestly see that.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe is Falco. My number one is absolutely Star Fox.
Yeah.
Like, to me, Star Fox is one of those game franchises that Nintendo has that they have not fucking taken advantage of at all. Like, Star Fox 64 is a fucking classic.
They could do a fucking remaster, and I will fucking pre-order that shit.
They have yet to like live up to that game, you know, in all the other Star Fox games they've released since then. So, like, Star Fox deserves like to have this, you know, like, and I think that's the movie I'm looking forward to the most. Because I just feel like because the newer Star Fox games post Star Fox 64 haven't lived up to the original game, not as many people have played Star Fox, you know, because like the younger audience just hasn't caught on to it. So like for them to come out with a super fucking awesome movie based around that franchise, I think would revitalize the franchise, possibly convince Nintendo to make a new Star Fox game, or just even remastering the 64 one, which we would all fucking love.
One of the only N64 games I beat back in the day was Star Fox.
Dude, it's a fucking awesome game. It's such a great game. So yeah, please nail it with Star Fox 64. Like, I'm begging you. And then for something that I want to see become a movie within this universe,
Oh, I didn't answer that, but go on.
Luigi's Mansion.
Oh.
Like, it's obvious.
See,
Like,
that's
come
coming.
on.
I feel like that's coming.
Yeah, they
I feel
haven't
like it has
announced
to.
it.
I feel like it has to.
It has to.
I
But
feel like maybe
yeah.
Super Mario 2 will delve more into that.
I need a Luigi's Mansion movie though. Like, I don't want these nice little references in the Mario Brothers 2 movie. Like, I want a full on Luigi's Mansion movie. Like, this is my favorite Nintendo franchise ever. Like, I love the Luigi's Mansions games. So for Luigi's Mansion to get its own movie would be like, I would fucking die. So please, Nintendo, if you're listening, fuck, I forgot his name. The guy that runs Nintendo, whatever, the guy that created Mario, whatever his name is.
God damn it.
I'm a Sony guy, so sorry, I don't know his name.
Miyamoto.
Luigi's Mansion. Miyamoto, please, for the love of God. Luigi's Mansion. I will say this, for the Zelda movie,
Yeah.
if fucking Zelda Williams is not in this movie at all, I'm fucking boycotting. Give her that respect. Give Robin Williams that fucking respect, bro. Put her in this fucking movie.
Okay, I have one. I have one. I could see this more becoming like a show, maybe on streaming.
Okay.
But Paper Mario would be visually, I think, would be sick.
You know what I think could be like a show, like a TV series, is like if they somehow adapted Mario Party into like a TV show, but they do it something like the cartoon Total Drama Island.
Yeah.
Right. So it's basically Survivor, but as a cartoon, right? Like if they did like a Mario Party TV series, kind of like in the same vein as that, I think that'd be fucking.
You know what
great
that would end up
hilarious.
being though, in actual reality, is like some fucking game show on like NBC with actual people, and it'd be lame.
It probably would be lame, but the cartoon where they could actually write out the script and plan out how things happen, I think would be pretty good. Total Drama Island was actually a pretty good cartoon. So I've seen that people are potentially throwing out a Kid Icarus movie potentially. I don't know how well that would be received. Like, I don't know. Is there Kid Icarus hype? I'm not too familiar with the character.
I mean, he was in the most recent Super Smash Brothers, and I honestly did not know who he was. I thought he was just another JRPG character.
Dude, fucking Wii Fit Trainer movie, am I right?
Dude,
Wii Fit Trainer movie?
Duck Hunt.
Dude, Duck Hunt?
Duck Hunt.
Dude, F-Zero. An F-Zero movie would be fucking crazy with Falco.
Yeah.
That would be fucking insane, dude. Here's the thing. Like, so admittedly, and I've told you about this before, I am like done with the MCU. Like, I'm just over it. I have so much Marvel fatigue that
same.
like I just can't do it anymore. Like, I have no interest at all in anything Marvel related. But Nintendo Cinematic Universe, I can definitely get behind that. I will have way more interest in that overall, just because I'm way more familiar with video games than I am comic books.
Mm-hmm.
But two, just like it's something that's never been done before that I'm absolutely willing to invest my time in. For a Legend of Zelda movie, do you think I know you haven't played a lot of the games, or I don't know how much of each game you know about, but is there a game that sticks out in your mind that you feel like would be really cool adapted to a movie?
I mean, I feel like they have to do Ocarina of Time. Like, how can
I agree with you, just because Breath of the Wild is so open-ended that it would be kind of hard to do a movie around that.
It's also just not like classic Zelda.
People have really hardcore nostalgia for Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
But the effect and influence of Breath of the Wild, I think you cannot deny. Like, that was one of the most revolutionary games for its time. And there's so many games now that come out that are basically Breath of the Wild clones.
Sure. But like, as far as like just Zelda, the franchise goes though, it's...
Oh, no, I agree with you. Ocarina of Time is still probably goated.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying, like, in terms of like influence, I feel like Breath of the Wild might have overtaken it. I don't know.
Maybe gaming wise, but as far as like fans of like the characters and stuff, I feel like you could, like, if someone were to cosplay Breath of the Wild Link
and versus like classic Link, like who's like immediately more recognizable. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. No, I agree with
Yeah.
100%.
But yeah, I feel like they would have to do Ocarina of Time. Majora's Mask would be sick because that's the one I owned.
Yeah.
But they could get really trippy with that one too. But
They could.
yeah,
There's a lot of ways it could go. Like Twilight Princess also has some like interesting things that they could do with it for a movie. Like that's like the most emo, edgy one that they could do. Yeah, Legend of Zelda. There's so many like opportunities for them.
yeah.
So I totally get why you're so excited for that because like yeah, there's so many things they could do with it that are interesting. In terms of the Super Smash Brothers movie,
You think they're gonna include Hand?
Mr. Hand, dude, they have to. If they do not, we riot. Like I swear to God, there's no way they do not include him, and he's like the main villain, like Thanos type shit.
Yeah,
like they have to.
Here's how it ends. We see Mr. Hand, right? He smashes whoever's left, right? Let's say Mario. He smashes Mario, right?
Hell yeah.
Hand out. Whose hand is it? Will Ferrell. It connects the Lego movie, the Barbie movie, and now the Nintendo Cinematic Universe together. It was Will all along.
I could see that. Dude, like it works so well in a Lego movie too. Like when Will Ferrell was revealed in that movie, it's like the most what the fuck moment ever. No, yeah, dude. I'm so excited for the future of the NCU. Like I really think like this has so much
what comes after M
so fucking big.
N. The NCU, baby.
Dude, and then like Sony's on their movie shit now, so like the fucking SCU is kicking off. Xbox needs to get their shit together.
Comic books, we're done. We're on to video games now.
Yeah, dude.
That's what it is. It's a new wave.
So like I said though, right? As much as I enjoy this movie, I do think that it loses a lot of its surprises and a lot of its, like wow factor upon a second viewing. After my first viewing, I probably would have rated this a 3.5, but after watching it a second time and just some of the issues I do have with the movie being a little bit more apparent, I'm probably gonna settle with a 3 on this. So still respectable, but just something that I would say is above average. As much as I enjoy this movie, I would say it's about above average.
I'm right there with you. I'm giving it a 3. After I first watched it, I was like, man, it's not a 4 movie. It's definitely not a 4, but is it a 3.5? That seems high. And upon watching it the second time and kind of reflecting on it, it's a 3. Like it's a solid, good 3.
A solid good 3. Much like myself after after eating a red mushroom. Oh shit.
Okay.
Yeah,
real quick though, I love. Oh fuck! I love how once again this is another Short King movie, which is awesome. However, I thought it was hilarious that when he eats the mushroom, they get tall. He's as tall as Peach.
Yeah, they should have included a scene of him like looking down his overalls or something and being like, "Yeah, hell yeah."
So, Super Mario Brothers. Well, actually, let me ask you something. Do you pronounce this Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario Bros?
I alternate for sure.
Okay.
Like I think I default to Super Mario Bros. Like when I'm just like casually talking about it, but like speaking scientifically, I will say the brothers.
I always say brothers. It just sounds weird to say bros.
I think the bigger debate is Mario versus Mario. If
Dude,
if you're one of those East Coast motherfuckers, you're probably saying Mario.
Look, this movie's set in New York, right? For part of it, they all say Mario. No Mario.
Listen, man, I know some I know some like real East Coast dudes, and they're like die hard. It's Mario, Super Mario Brothers.
Nah, bro. He was created by a Japanese guy. It's Mario.
Yeah. I will say this: no reference at all, which I'm kind of disappointed. no reference at all to Mario's name being Mario.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would have come up at some point during the movie, but they don't reference it at all.
All right. With that, Mario gets a 3. No calculations needed. It's a 3 all around. So as always, you can find us on Instagram at Nosebleed AV Club. You could also find us on TikTok, same handle, Nosebleed AV Club. YouTube, you got to search us up because, oh wait, no, we actually do have a custom URL. You could go to youtube.com/@NosebleedAVClub and you should find us.
Dude, mama, we made it.
We also have a website that will be coming soon that will host all of our movie rankings so that you can check it out for your reference to see where your scores stack against ours. That will be at nosebleedav.club. Coming soon. Not done yet. If you're listening audio and you're on Apple or Spotify, leave us a rating, hit that follow button so you know when the new episode's posted, and basically just do all the things. We are trying to get to Mushroom Kingdom by our next episode, so please go ahead and do all that.
Oh, shit.
We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.